This video is for appraisees, and it explains the goal setting process, which happens after your self-assessment. Be sure that you've gone through the entire self-assessment process because this will assist you in creating the goals. The steps are on the screen. First, you'll create your professional goal. Remember, this is focused on your growth as an individual. You'll submit that for approval. You'll then create a student growth goal, which is focused on campus improvement, and that should be a SMART goal. So we're looking for a percent of improvement, and here's an example of where it's specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. So make sure that the goal that you're creating for your student growth is connected to your data and your areas of need. You'll then submit that for approval to your appraiser within Eduphoria. So let's demonstrate some of those steps. When you log into Strive, again, it'll open up on your campus view. You want to make sure that you click on My Evaluation Process, drill down under Beginning of Year, and you'll see those two separate areas. So to add a professional goal, hit the plus sign, and then you'll get a pop-up window. This is the basics, and then we'll show you what it looks like when you go a little bit deeper. So this is where you will explain your goal. You can put as much detail as you want here, but remember to hit all of those areas. For your professional growth, probably not going to have a percent, but you want to put enough detail to understand what your goal is. So I'm just going to put text here. Your start date, of course, will be when you're beginning that, or it could even revert back to when we started the school year. So you may list that as the start of the school year. And then when is your completion date? Keep in mind that not every goal may take until May. Maybe you have a goal that is really focused up on the first semester. And so your end date may be, end of December. And then you have another goal for semester 2. You'll discuss that with your appraiser, but keep in mind that it doesn't have to be the end of the school year. So I'm just going to put an example that my goal is the end of April. And then how will you know that you have succeeded in this? What will it look like when you go through all of the steps? So if it's something, let's say that we're focusing on the coaching and growth, what will your success look like? And so you would explain that here. You could put bullets, sentences, but put enough detail because that's what you're striving to achieve. Okay. You will select your standards and tags. It could be several if it's all connected into one. Or just one, you decide that that's where you're going to pull from your self-assessment. Wherever you had lower, developing needs improvement, maybe even a proficient, this is where you're pulling the information from. And then finally, you're adding actions in. So what exactly will you do to achieve what you're explaining? You could start with 1 or 2 things here and always add more actions throughout the school year. You don't have to know your entire plan at this point, but let's say that we're going to, on September 7th, what are you going to do? Work with a fellow AP and compare walkthroughs, something like that. And so you want to add it to your goal, and then you would keep adding multiple action items. The final step here is to click save. Now, this is your screen where you want to come back throughout the school year. Okay, so you want to come in and you want to add more actions whenever you either do something or you have a plan to do something. It could always be edited. Okay, you could delete it if you make a mistake, but you want to continue to add more actions throughout the school year. Think of this as your portfolio. This is where you are building information to make that case. Okay, so I'm just going to add something else so you can see it there. Of course, you put more detail. What was the professional development? What was the focus of it? What did you achieve? But this is where you're listing everything. And then the next step here for your goals throughout the school year, I would suggest is to add your evidence. And so here you could put a text box, you could open or upload a file, or you could link something. So keep in mind at the end of the year, when you go through your summative, you have to prove exactly, how you achieved your goal, and that will help with your overall rating. So as much evidence as you can upload here, I would suggest doing that throughout the school year and not just at the end. So just a quick reminder, if we go to the T-PESS website, each domain has example evidence that you can reference. And so I'm going to go back to the rubric. And then remember, when you scroll all the way down to the end of a domain, they have the examples. So if you had a goal that was maybe based on your mission, vision, goals, values, and beliefs, well, that's an artifact that you should have. That is something that you would scan and upload. If it was based on leadership team roles and responsibilities, you would upload that document you created. So that's where I would suggest a binder, maybe a file folder box, whatever you're going to be putting all of your evidence. And so those that went through Effective Schools framework are used to this. So have that ready. And then whenever you have something, upload it. Now, I know this video is for appraisees, the ones setting the goals, but your appraisers can also add evidence if they see you doing something as well. So if you are going to list something, you could explain it here, and then you would hit upload. And then notice it would say who did it and when, and you would have your evidence. So at the end of the year, this should be a very busy screen because you're going to have all of your actions that you've done and then all of your evidence to prove that. Also, the message feature can be used to document conversations between you and your appraiser. Now, all of that is just working on it. So you could work on this, return to your evaluation process, and then notice that your goal says unsubmitted. So you're used to this with your teachers. You have to submit for your appraiser to see it. So once you are ready, you would either click those two dots and submit for approval, or you could just go back into the goal and hit submit for approval. Once you've done that, you can still make changes, but now your evaluator can see it. So you are now waiting for them to approve your goal. It'll currently say submitted. Once your appraiser goes in and approves it, it'll say approved, and then you're working on it. Then at the end of the year, you will mark it for completion. So that's just step one. That's your professional goal. You would go through the same process for a student growth goal. It looks exactly the same, but make sure that you have that SMART goal. It is attached to campus improvement and our students, and have a percent, have a specific subject area or subgroup, whatever your needs assessment has shown. If you have any questions on the goal setting process, please let me know.